What is up, guys? My name is Kameding, and today I am here comparing the 3 grenades that are in Unturned. Well, I mean, not really comparing in a sense, because we all know that this is the worst, the Makeshift Grenade, then we got the Fragmentation Grenade, then the Sticky Grenade. But I'm going to be going through all the stats of the grenades, just so you guys know how powerful these actually can be, and hopefully used more, because once again I'm making so many guides of items that are not being used. And these grenades I never see really being used. I do see the grenade, I'm not gonna lie, I do see the grenade being thrown at people every now and then, but they should be used much more often, because although the throwing mechanic in Unturned is pretty cancerous, it's still very viable if you know how it works, and if you can get a good throw off leading the guy who's running, throw that grenade, blow up right on him. Now, firstly, to show off all the crafting on this, the Makeshift Grenade is made with 1 can, 1 nail, 1 raw explosive, and crafting 1 as your skill. That makes a beautiful Makeshift Grenade. Fragmentation Grenades are actually uncraftable, but they can be found in basically every single military location, and they can be dropped by any military zombie, and of course the mega zombie as well. And going on to Sticky Grenade, you make that with 1 glue, 1 wire, 1 raw explosive, a Fragmentation Grenade, and crafting 2. And the great thing about Sticky Grenades, that's basically going to lead you to be making a demolition charge. But if you're not feeling like making a demolition charge, you are welcome to stay with a Sticky Grenade, and it is still very useful. First, before we talk about the damage and the distance the damage does and all of that, we need to first find out the explosive time, because if you're going to actually try to hit a player with this or anything like that, you need to know how far you need to lead the person, how many seconds you need to lead that person to be able to kill them. The Makeshift Grenade, although is the weakest, can still kill a player in 1 blow, if it is basically spot on. So I'm gonna be throwing this, and you're gonna see a timer in the top left. There you go, and I'm almost positive it's gonna be the same with all of them. As you can see, it's basically the exact same for every single grenade. They're all the same. The Makeshift, the Fragmentation Grenade, and the Sticky Grenade. It doesn't matter. The time of explosion is always the same. Now watch. This is how much you're going to want to lead the person on. From there to there. Basically, let me see if I can shoot them out of more. It's not going to leave a spot. From here to here. That far of a distance. So looking at it, you'll see circles on my screen right now. He starts on the right side, he ends at the left side. That's just an approximation right there. So if you see someone right here, throw it right there, hope that he runs into it, and then kaboom, you got yourself a kill and some amazing loot. Now, firstly, let's just talk about Makeshift Grenades. These do no damage on structures at all. It's 100%, and it's still 100%. Also on vehicles, the vehicle is at 93%. It is now at 93%. Do not throw Makeshift Grenades at cars or anything like that unless you have really good timing and you want to try to kill the person in the car. And you can kill 4 people with that, but you're not going to be able to break a car with a Makeshift Grenade. Though, just to test it right now to prove to you guys, this can still kill in 1 blow. The thing about Makeshift Grenades is it has very bad blast damage. Look, I'm going to be exactly 1 floor away and watch. It does 5 damage to me 1 floor away. Basically not viable at all, and as you can see I wasn't bleeding either. Let's go half a floor away and let's see exactly what happens. This is about half, I'd say. It does kill me around halfway through the floor. As you can see, there's no in between. The other grenades, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's really no in between. Either you're going to die or you're going to lose 5 to 6% of your health with no bleeding. Disregard the dead body right here, but to end it off with the Makeshift Grenade, it does kill zombies and animals in 1 blow. But all in all, is it worth crafting? I'd say yes, because it only takes 1 can, 1 nail, and 1 explosive. That's not hard at all. And although the timing of you trying to kill that player is going to be extremely hard unless they're just looking in their inventory, and in that sense you might as well just shoot them instead of throwing a grenade at them. But it could still be viable in some situations. Although rare, I'd say if you have leftover scrap metal, leftover random construction items, and some leftover raw explosives, why not just make some makeshift grenades and just test it out for your guys' self? Because I bet there's a 1 in 100 chance you get a kill with that makeshift grenade. Maybe not likely, but there's always a chance. Going on to the most practical grenade in the game, basically, we have the Fragmentation Grenade. Why sticky grenades aren't going to really be used to be killing people? For one, they're sticky and it's not really useful for players because it doesn't stick to players either, if you were wondering that. Sticky grenades do not stick to players. And all sticky grenades are going to do is just going to give you one step close to make that demolition charge or precision charge. Might as well just make that. Don't really use the sticky grenade. At least that's just my sense. Unless it is still pretty good with rating. We'll talk about that in 1 second. But fragmentation grenades do damage to buildables. As you can see, this pine floor and wall, it does exactly 8% health to a pine wall. Let's check maple. If it does 8% to pine, it does 10% to maple. And let's check metal. It does 3% to metal, so of course not very viable when it comes to rating. I mean, with around 10 grenades, you could break through a maple wall. You would need a little bit more for a pine wall and a little bit less for a birch wall. But all in all, the middle class wood, you would need 10 fragmentation grenades. So maybe not useful for raiding unless you really have leftover fragmentation grenades by just looting military locations, killing zombies, getting a bunch of drops. If you have 10 extra grenades, hey, that'll take you right through a wall. Also, if you were wondering, a grenade on a locker does 8 damage, so you would need about 12 grenades to be able to break down a locker. So once again, not very viable when it comes to grenades on buildables. Going on to car damage, this is at 100% and it's gonna take it down all the way to 86%, 14% damage when it comes to vehicles. And as you can see, grenades and most items pass right through vehicles. Don't tell me exactly why, but that's just how it works. But as you can see, now it's at 71% health. That's just going down, down, and down. It does about 14.5 damage to at least an off-roader. I don't know about other vehicles. Now going to player damage, of course, I just saw with the makeshift grenade. This is, of course, going to kill you, so I'm not going to put it right under me because that's just going to kill me. Of course, it one-blows zombies and animals if you do care. We're going to check a one-floor distance like we did with the makeshift grenade, and the fragmentation grenade gets you to about 20% health and bleeding. Let's test that again, just so we don't have any errors in our system. 1 floor away, and as you can see, we're going to get about 20% health and bleeding. The fragmentation grenade does have a little bit of extra blast radius. I can go a little bit farther than a floor, and let's see right here. It still damages me, but not by much. Let's heal myself real fast, and let's go a bit farther, because we want to get the exact distance. Let's go right at the edge, and let's go about 1.5 floors. I guarantee it does not hit me, as you can tell. Half floor away will kill me, because we're not going to even test that, because we all know this is worse than a makeshift grenade, and the makeshift grenade killed me halfway through. But all in all, with the fragmentation grenade, you have a little bit more room for error when that player is running across the map for you trying to throw that grenade and hit him spot on and kill him just like that. You have a 1 floor radius, to be honest, because even if you get a player down to this, of course, yes, it is possible for him to heal up real fast with 20% health. But while he's healing up, he has no weapons equipped. That's when you just go and even punch him in the head or just give him a little bit of shots with a Colt. Boom, he is cooked meat, and you just got yourself some more loot. And going on to our last grenade, we have the sticky grenade that is, of course, craftable. Like I said before, these aren't as useful as the other grenades because this grenade is going to give you one step closer to that demolition charge. You're just going to want to make that demolition charge. But if you really want to use a sticky grenade, it does do the most damage and most blast radius of any other grenade. Throw it against this wall, and yes, it does stick to a wall, of course, and it's going to do 21 damage to a pine wooden wall. That's the most damage you can do. Going to maple, because we always like testing middle wooden class, it's going to do exactly 24% damage. That means only 5 sticky grenades and you're right through that wall. Of course, we always love testing metal walls, so let's get to one that is 100% health, like this beautiful one. Stick it right to that center of the wall, and I almost just killed myself, but that just brought a metal wall down 9% health. So 11 sticky grenades and you just got yourself through a metal wall. Of course, like I said, not very viable because you can just upgrade that to a demolition charge and only take 2 charges through that metal wall. But like I said, still viable if you do not have a detonator or anything like that. This locker, let's heal that up to 100% and let's stick a sticky grenade right on that. And let's see how much that does to lockers, because that of course matters. And as you can see, the blast radius of that is huge. I was standing right here to that locker and it still damages me. Very, very huge. We'll talk about more in depth than that in a little bit. But as you can see, 2 sticky grenades brought it down to 29 health. That's about 14.5 damage with each sticky grenade. 2 lockers, of course. Now let's go to vehicles. Of course, sticky grenades do not attach to vehicles because they just go right through. That's just how the vehicle hitboxes are. Nothing can really go through it. But as you can see, that brought it down very, very immensely. I don't think that was at 100%, so don't believe in what that says right there. And one more thing to add, like I already said, the sticky grenade cannot attach to you. As you can see, ooh, I'm gonna try to throw it straight up in the air. Of course, I don't want to die, but you just have to trust me when I say the sticky grenade cannot attach to a player. Same thing as a zombie. Let's walk over to a zombie and test this out. Just watch. As you can see, a sticky grenade goes right through the zombie. I think the sticky grenade would be much more useful if it could actually attach to a player. I don't see why it shouldn't be able to, because I mean, if a sticky grenade could attach to a player, you can stick the player with a sticky grenade. Even if he kills you, he's dead, and that would make the sticky grenade so much more viable. So Nelson, if you're watching this, which I know you aren't, but if you are, make sticky grenades be able to stick to entities. I don't see why that's not a thing already, and you will make an item much more useful in your beautiful game of Unturned. Just a little heart to Nelson right there. But anyways, like I promised, the blast radius of a sticky grenade is massive. I'm gonna go 2 floors away and see if it still hits me. I'm assuming not. That's a little too far, as you can tell. Yeah, 1 floor away will most likely kill me in my eyes. Let's go 1.5 floors away and see what happens right here. It does heal me and take almost half of my health away. Quite crazy if you ask me. Let's go 1.25 floors away. Right about, I'd say here. It does almost kill me, so yes, assuming that is right. 1 floor away will for sure kill you. Let's go 1 floor and a couple inches. So let's go like right here. 19% and bleeding. As you can see, where I'm standing from where it was, the radius on these sticky grenades are huge, which is of course very, very beautiful when it comes to trying to kill a player with a sticky grenade. Of course, I'd most likely see sticky grenades used on structures unless they stuck to players, which they don't as of now. Hopefully it sticks to entities eventually. But that is all that I have for you guys today. Basically, if you learned anything from this video, what you need to know is that grenades are useful when killing players. It has about a 4-second explosion once you click that mouse. So when that player is running, like you saw before with 1 dot here, 1 dot there, when you see him here, aim for right there. And as you can see, kaboom, and he is dead. And these are actually pretty hard to throw. I want to aim right there. If I throw it like that, it's going to only make it about halfway. You're going to want to aim high, and I always like jumping forward. I don't know why, it just makes me feel better about myself. And it explodes right on that guy. You get that loot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Also complain to Nelson on why sticky grenades don't stick to players, because they need to stick to players, they need to stick to cars, they need to stick to zombies, they need to stick to animals, they need to stick to entities in general. You learned that Nelson should be adding more stickiness to this beautiful game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell to get all of my videos just like that. My name is Kameding, and I'm out of here. See you guys later.
Welcome to the Krusty Krab. We got the hamburger, we got the down. We got the special so nigga that's here. We don't fuck with plank and making it clear.